My daughter yelled, "You're not my real mother." 3 days later, she lost her school, her car. She stood in the doorway, arms crossed, faced it. I had just taken the lasagna out of the oven, her favorite. It was our Sunday ritual. Or used to be. "I'm not hungry," she snapped. I blinked, confused. "Did something happen?" I asked gently. She shrugged. "I'm moving in with Mom. The setup doesn't make sense anymore." The fork slipped from my hand. "You're moving in with her?" I asked. "When I turn 18, it's legal. And besides, you're not my real mother." The words hit harder than anything I've ever felt. Not my real mother. "I mean, biologically," she added like that softened it. Then came the rehearsed monologue. How her mom and Dante got her. How they believed in her brand. How algebra was a waste of time when she had natural magnetism. I didn't argue. I didn't cry. I just looked at the girl I'd raised for 9 years and saw a stranger. When she finished, she gave a small, smug smile. "I just thought you should know." I nodded, turned off the oven, and said, "Thanks for being honest. I'll make some decisions tonight, too." She blinked, surprised. But I had already started clearing the plates. Plates no one would eat from. That night, I didn't sleep. I made a list. School, car, savings, responsibilities. By morning, I was ready. I remembered the first night her mother left. She was 5. I sat on the edge of her bed, brushing her curls, whispering lies I hoped would become true. "She'll be back in the morning," I said. She never was. There were no court fights, no drama, just silence and one sentence from her biome's lawyer. "My client does not wish to pursue custody at this time." I didn't ask to be a mother, but I became one. I gave up promotions, took freelance jobs, skipped vacations, private school. I refinanced my car. Everything she had was because I chose her. Over and over again, so when she screamed, "You're not my real mother," I knew what I had to do. Monday morning, I slid the envelope across the table. She was mid-scroll on her phone. "What's this?" "Withdrawal papers from Lakeside. You have 5 days before they remove you." She froze. "You can't." "Mom said I'm staying. She's not paying the tuition." I was, and now I'm not. I placed the car keys on the table. "The BMW gets picked up Friday." She stood up furious. "You're punishing me." "I'm adjusting," I said calmly. "If I'm not your mother, I don't owe you a mother's sacrifices." She went pale. "What about the college fund? Locked, reserved for my child?" "That's not you right now." She stormed out. Slamming doors doesn't scare me anymore. By Friday, her tuition was unpaid. She was officially withdrawn. That evening, she came home breathless. Lakeside kicked me out. I said nothing. She wasn't talking to me. She was spiraling. Mom said she'd fix it, but Deco's in jail. I looked up. "Jail?" She nodded, eyes red, selling fake supplements. One of his clients landed in the ER. By Monday, she was enrolled at the local public school. Plastic lunch trays, no luxury, no curated aesthetics. She came home quiet. Her influencer friends gone. Her likes vanished. She stopped posting. And on Thursday, I found the note. "Mom, I know I messed up. I tried to make you the villain because it made things easier. I thought I could skip the hard work and be someone important. I didn't realize what I was trading until it was gone. I don't care about the school or the car. I care about you. I just want you to be my mom again." There was no signature, just silence. And for once, I let it sit. The next morning, she sat across from me. Quiet. The first time in weeks she looked at me, not through me. And when she asked if I wanted tea, I just nodded. She got up, turned on the kettle, and I didn't wonder if she was coming back to me. It was Sunday evening. The kind of quiet moment I had come to treasure after a hectic week. I was just taking the bubbling lasagna out of the oven, her favorite dish, something that had become our little tradition over the years. The aroma filled the kitchen, and for a moment, I felt hope. Maybe tonight things would be normal again. But then she spoke. Words I hadn't prepared for. words wrapped in cold finality. I'm not hungry. I blinked, the fork slipping from my fingers. Confused, I asked gently, "Did something happen?" She shrugged without looking at me. Then came the bombshell. "I'm moving in with Mom." My heart stopped for a moment. "You're moving in with her?" "When I turn 18, it's legal. And besides," she added with a sharp edge, "you're not my real mother." Those words hit harder than anything I'd ever imagined. Not my real mother. The sting was like being punched in the gut, dragging me back. Through every sleepless night, every sacrifice, every moment I chose her above all else. She softened it slightly. Biologically, I mean. Her rehearsed monologue rolled on, how her biological mother and some guy named Dante had saved her, believed in her brand, how algebra was beneath her because of her natural magnetism. I didn't argue. I didn't cry. I simply looked at the girl I'd raised over 9 years and saw a stranger. When she finished, smug and confident, she said, "I just thought you should know." I nodded slowly, turned off the oven, and replied, "Thanks for being honest. I'll make some decisions tonight, too." She blinked, surprised, but I had already started clearing the plates. Plates no one would eat from again. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat with a list of cold, hard facts. School, car, savings, responsibilities. I recalled the first night her real mother left. She was 5 years old. I sat at her bedside, brushing her soft curls, whispering fragile lies I prayed would come true. "She'll be back in the morning," I told her. That morning never came. No court battles, no dramatic confrontations, just silence and a cold letter from her mother's lawyer. "My client does not wish to pursue custody at this time." I hadn't asked to be a mother to this child, but I became one. I gave up promotions at work, sacrificed vacations, took freelance jobs to afford private school tuition, even refinanced my car. Everything she had was because I consciously chose her. Every single day, over and over. So when she screamed, "You're not my real mother," I understood what I had to do. Monday morning, I slid an envelope across the kitchen table while she was distracted scrolling through her phone. Inside were withdrawal papers from Lakeside Academy. "You have 5 days before they remove you," I said calmly. She froze, disbelief written across her face. "You can't. Mom said I'm staying." "She's not paying the tuition. I was, and now I'm not." I placed the BMW car keys on the table. "Next." "The car? It gets picked up Friday." Fury erupted in her eyes. "You're punishing me." "No," I said, voice steady. "I'm adjusting. If I'm not your mother, then I don't owe the sacrifices a mother makes." Her face paled. "What about the college fund?" "Locked. Reserved for my child. And that's not you right now." She stormed out, slamming doors behind her. I no longer flinched at the sound. By Friday, her tuition was unpaid. She was officially withdrawn. That evening, she showed up breathless, on the verge of tears. "Lakeside kicked me out," she said without looking at me. She wasn't talking, just spiraling. "Mom said she'd fix it," she added wearily. "But Dante's in jail." "Jail?" I looked up sharply. Her eyes, red-rimmed and weary, told the ugly truth. Dante was involved in selling fake supplements, one of which landed a client in the ER. By Monday, she was enrolled in the local public high school. No BMW, no curated Instagram life, no private school glam. Lunch trays were plastic, the halls were noisier, and the luxury was replaced by stark normalcy. The influencer friends disappeared. Her likes vanished. She stopped posting altogether. On Thursday, I found a note sitting quiet on the kitchen table. "Mom, I know I messed up. I tried to make you the villain because it was easier. I thought I could skip the hard work and be someone important. I didn't. Realize what I was trading away until it was gone. I don't care about the school or car. I care about you. I just want you to be my mom again. No signature. Just silence." I let it sit. For once, I didn't rush toward answers or explanations. I savored that moment of raw honesty. The next morning, she sat quietly across from me for the first time in weeks, looking at me, not through me, When she quietly asked, "Do you want tea?" I just nodded. She got up and turned on the kettle. And in that simple act, I didn't wonder if she was finally coming back to me. I just felt grateful that maybe we were starting. Story 2, on my ex-wife's wedding day. She mocked my simple life in front of her rich friends. But when her new husband-to-be saw me, he froze with horror. What happened next? Left everyone in shock. Chapter 1. The invitation I wasn't supposed to get it had been 5 years since the divorce. 5 years since she walked out of our modest 2-bedroom home and straight into the arms of wealth, status, and champagne brunches. Her final words echoed like a punch. "You were always too small for me." I never responded. I didn't fight for her. I didn't try to win her back. I simply let her go quietly without drama. The pain, however, lingered like a shadow in the corner of every room I entered for a long, long time, until one day I stopped feeling it. I rebuilt my life. No, not in a flashy, Instagram-perfect kind of way, but in the kind that matters. A small carpentry business I started from scratch took off. My hands were always busy, my heart calm, my circle of friends genuine. I lived simply, peacefully, honestly. Then 1 week ago, an envelope arrived. Cream-colored, gold-embossed, fancy. It was a wedding invitation. Heron from her Elena. I stared at it, confused at first, then amused. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe it was her twisted idea of showing how far she'd come, but curiosity itched. I RSP'd. Yes. Chapter 2. The stage was set. The venue was a luxurious hilltop estate overlooking the city like it owned every single light below. I arrived in jeans, boots, and a collared shirt that still smelled faintly of sawdust from the morning's work. People turned and stared, every man in a tailored suit, every woman in a dress that cost more than my monthly rent. I felt the judgment settle like dust on old wood, but I didn't shrink. I was here to observe, not to impress. From the balcony, I heard laughter rise like a wave, and there she was, Elena, draped in white silk and arrogance. She spotted me across the crowd and motioned for her bridesmaids to follow. They closed the distance, wine glasses in hand, lips already curled in mockery. "You actually showed up," she said, eyes twinkling with sarcasm. "Didn't expect you'd find parking in a place this upscale." Her friends laughed. "How's life in your little cabin? Still fixing tables and chasing pennies? Must be surreal for you to be around real elegance for once." I smiled, calm, unmoved. It's peaceful and everything. I own is paid off. They laughed again, but with less confidence. I could see it. They expected me to flinch, to feel small. But the real twist, it was about to come because as her soon-to-be husband walked in from the side terrace, cocktail in hand, he caught sight of me and froze. The glass slipped slightly in his grip, his face flushed with confusion and something eerily close to fear. He turned pale, then whispered, "You." The laughter stopped. Conversations fell away. All eyes turned to me. "Do you two know each other?" Elena asked, suddenly nervous. "Yes," her fiancé said quietly, not taking his eyes off me. "More than you could ever imagine." Chapter 3. The groom's dirty past. Elena blinked at her fiancé, confused. The silence was growing heavier with each second. "Wait, what do you mean you know him?" she asked, glancing between us. Her fiancé Nathan didn't answer right away. His hand was trembling as he set the glass down on a nearby table. His lips parted, but no words came. I finally broke the tension. "You should ask him, Elena," I said calmly. "Ask him where we met." "Where did you?" She started but stopped herself. Then she turned to Nathan. "What is he talking about? How do you know my ex-husband?" Nathan finally spoke, voice strained. "It was a long time ago before you. I didn't know she was your—" He paused. "I didn't know she was your wife back then." The guests were now openly watching, phones forgotten. Hors was untouched. The band had stopped playing mid-melody. Elena's face went pale. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "What did you do?" He hesitated. "Then we used to work together in finance, a big investment firm uptown. But there was an incident, a whistleblower case. He glanced at me. He was the one who reported us. Gasps. A few of the older guests exchanged nervous glances. Elena's voice trembled. Reported? For what? I stepped forward, my voice steady. Insider trading, securities, fraud, embezzlement. The company covered it up, but I handed over everything to the feds. Nathan here cut a deal and vanished. Changed. Industries, changed cities, changed names. I looked right at Nathan. Never thought I'd see your face again. Imagine my surprise when I opened that wedding invite. Elena stumbled backward like she'd been slapped. You criminal. You lied to me. Nathan's tone turned desperate. I didn't lie. I protected us. That part of my life is over. I've built everything again. On a foundation of fraud, I cut in. Seems fitting. She left me for luxury after all. The words hit like a bullet. Elena's eyes widened. You knew who he was the whole time. You planned this? I shrugged. Let's just say I trusted karma. And karma asked me to RSVP. Chapter 4. Shattered vows. Shattered masks. The silence at the venue was oppressive now, only broken by the soft rustling of the breeze and the awkward shifting of stunned guests. Nathan looked like he wanted the ground to swallow him whole. Elena, still gripping the edge of a marble pillar, for support, turned her wrath on him like a blade. You told me your past was clean, that your record was spotless. You swore you never had skeletons. Nathan stepped forward, palms out. I had to lie. If I told the truth, you'd never look at me. You wanted a man with status, prestige, money. She flinched as if slapped again. This time not by betrayal, but by the realization. It was true. She did want that. She had left me not for love, not for happiness, but for what looked better in photos, what earned likes, what earned envy. Now it was crumbling in front of the very people she tried to impress. You said he was pathetic, one of her bridesmaids whispered, pointing toward me. Said he lived in a shack. Said he'd probably never recover from losing you. Another guest spoke up. An older man in a tailored suit I didn't recognize. Nathan, is this why you disappeared from the firm? We heard rumors, the SEC probe, but no one ever confirmed who. Nathan didn't respond. His silence said everything. I looked at Elena, her mascara, beginning to run, her pride wilting fast. You mocked me, I said, voice low but clear. In front of everyone, called my life small. But here's the thing. I turned toward the crowd. My life is simple, yes, but it's honest. I build things with my hands, not steal them with spreadsheets. I wake up with peace, not secrets. And when people shake my hand, they don't wonder what's hiding behind it. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Someone actually clapped, then stopped, embarrassed. But it was too late. Momentum had shifted. Elena was no longer the radiant bride. She was just exposed. Nathan broke the silence with a final attempt to regain control. This doesn't change anything. We still love each other. We can explain. But Elena was already stepping back from him, shaking her head slowly. I gave up everything for this wedding, she whispered. For you, for this perfect image. She looked around at the shocked guests, at the whispering bridesmaids, at the camera crew who had now stopped recording altogether. And you gave me ruin. Her voice cracked. Then she turned to me, eyes bloodshot but steady. Did you come just to destroy me? I met her gaze evenly. Number, you did that all by yourself. I just showed up, so you'd have to watch it happen. Chapter 5. The bride walks alone. Gasps turn to whispers. Whispers turned to murmurs, and murmurs became judgment. I watched as Elena stood at the center of it all. Once the perfect bride, now the centerpiece of a scandal unraveling in real time. One by one, her bridesmaids stepped away. The ones who laughed with her before were now quiet, suddenly remembering that they had reputations too. Nathan stood frozen, sweat beading on his forehead, his designer suit doing nothing to mask the panic behind his eyes. We can still fix this, he pleaded, grabbing Elena's wrist. She jerked it away like his touch burned. Number. You're not dragging me down with you. And then, like a final curtain falling, the venue's event manager approached hesitantly. Mrs. Elena, sorry. Do you still want the ceremony to continue? The silence that followed that question was heavier than anything yet. Elena blinked slowly, taking in the entire scene, the photographer packing up his gear, the caterers, standing awkwardly by the buffet, the empty chairs where guests had quietly slipped away, the gossip already spreading like wildfire. She looked at Nathan once more, this man she had bet her future on. And then she looked at me. Not with anger, not even with hate, but with a kind of aching realization. She had traded love for lifestyle, honesty for aesthetics, and in doing so lost everything that mattered. She didn't respond to the manager. Instead, she pulled off her veil with trembling fingers, let it fall to the floor, and walked away alone down the aisle, meant for her new beginning. As she disappeared through the gates, Nathan chased after, her shouting her name. No one stopped him, no one followed. The ceremony was over, but the fallout had only just begun. I turned to leave too, just as calmly as I had entered, but not before one of Elena's aunts stopped me near the valet. She was older, quiet, with kind eyes. "You've changed," she said. "So has she," I replied. "Only difference is I grew." She nodded slowly. I hope someday she understands what she lost. I didn't answer. Some lessons come too late, and some stories don't need revenge when the truth is brutal enough. Epilogue. Years later, under a different sky. 3 years had passed since the wedding that wasn't. It became a story people whispered about in elite circles. The hilltop collapsed, they called it. A glamorous bride, a scandalous groom, an ex-husband who showed up looking like a nobody and walked out as the only one with dignity. I never told my side. I didn't have to. Truth, like good woodwork, doesn't need polish to shine. Nathan was disbarred from every board he quietly joined under aliases. After the exposure at the wedding, regulators reopened old files, deals unraveled, partnerships dissolved. The new fortune he tried to build seized, frozen, gone. He eventually moved to another city and started over again. But this time, the shame followed. His face, easy to Google now. His name, a cautionary tale. Elena's spiral was slower. She tried returning to her old social circle, but influence fades fast when respect vanishes. Friends stopped inviting her. People began avoiding her name altogether. Not because they were angry, but because embarrassment is contagious in high society. She tried a podcast once, Reclaiming Me. 2 episodes in, it vanished. Word was she went back to her parents' place for a while, then moved to a small apartment on the city's edge. She picked up work in marketing, modest, ordinary, and for the first time, she lived the life she once mocked. Me, I stayed small.